Wait, am I reading? What's going on?
No,
Oh.
hold on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Today we're back reading more of Lily Pete's garbage fan fiction. If you want to know what it is on AO3, it's called The Sith Resurgence. Just go ahead and search that out if you want to read ahead of us. The spoilers are appreciated because it means we know how bad this is going to get. Today we're on chapter 8. In recap of what happened in the last chapter.
Let's see. Ray and Amorosa had some very cringy banter. Ray comes to the realization she's a lesbian, despite not even knowing homosexuality was a thing. And she finally discovers that the girl she loves is actually a Sith, and then she runs away crying. And then we also discover in this chapter that Kylo Ren is a homophobe. Uh, he's a homophobic Bible thumper. He quite literally wants to save Rey from the big gay. And so let's see, in the last chapter they went to Maz's cantina, they found Luke's lightsaber, the First Order attacks, and Kylo captures Rey like in the movie. But I guess in this version, Kylo's going to subject her to conversion therapy.
Yeah, but even in the movie that didn't work. So so it doesn't matter because Mary Sue cannot be harmed. What's up, Joe Crazy? And hello once again, Tyrant King.
Because Lily has this weird hatred for Kylo Ren, and I guess spite for Reylo shippers.
And we are joined today by a lovely friend of mine named Amaryllis.
Hello.
So, Amaryllis, do you want to read or usually I read?
You know, I would absolutely love to read. Let's see how well I can do this. I don't have my glasses on, so this is probably going to be a disaster, but I will do my best.
You never asked me if I wanted to read.
I figured you'd volunteer.
Ladies first. We could alternate every paragraph.
It sounds good.
Okay. Okay. I will go ahead and start then.
Oh, hold on.
Oh.
Should we each have characters we voice?
Oh god.
Yes, that'd be great.
Okay, so who are y'all electing me to get? This is so hard because are there any quotations? Yeah, okay, there we go.
Yeah, there's quotations. So shockingly, the grammar is very well understandable. There's quite a few run-on sentences, but so far for dialogue, we're good.
I feel like I'm gonna butcher this shit.
Yeah.
Well, then go put your glasses on.
No, I'm good. I can just be the narrator if you guys want to alternate off of the. Because I don't know how many fucking people are in here.
Hold on a sec. I need to find a link to this.
Like, this is my first time hearing about this, and I'm already scared.
Yeah.
Like, just for the general well-being of the general public at this point.
All right, then I will just read first, and we can, if you want to pick up or pick a character that when they have dialogue, just go for it.
Okay, I can do Ray. Be horrible.
All right. Finn stepped off the Falcon in a daze. He looked around the Resistance base. It was small, but the entire compound teemed with energy as Resistance fighters ran back and forth carrying supplies and data pads to each individual building. He couldn't even tell which grass-covered bunker was which as he followed the general flow of people. The entire last few hours had been a complete daze. He was still processing everything. The First Order attack, Rey being kidnapped. Oh, Criff Ray, she was in the heart of the First Order now, at Kylo Ren's mercy. He'd almost forgotten on the flight here with everything else. Starkiller Base, the plans to destroy the Republic. It was all rushing past him, and he couldn't focus on anything. After almost 2 weeks of worrying and fretting over where he was going to go, It looked like the First Order had made the decision for him. Fear or no fear, he was about to leave Rey on Starkiller Base to be tortured. He wasn't. He wasn't about to do that. Correction. Yes, it is interesting. It's almost it. She Tyrant. I would say that Lilly probably has people in her life that watch anime, and she thinks she's too good to watch it, but she'll stay in the same room as the anime playing.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't be surprised if Lily actually does like anime. It's kind of like how a lot of the most openly homophobic people are just closet gays.
Something struck his leg. He looked down to see BB-8 rolling past him towards one of the X-Wing fighters that had escorted them and toward the pilot getting out of the cockpit. As he got closer, he beeped happily at Poe Dameron, excited to see he was alive. Finn was wide-eyed at the sight. Acting entirely on reflex, he was running over to the two of them. Poe caught the motion from the corner of his eye upon looking up, realizing who it was, and began running towards him as well.
Buddy!
Da da da! All I can picture is just the screen turning like pink and both of them running and big emotional love music playing. Like, this is not how men interact with one another.
Okay, I guess I'll play Finn. Poe Dameron, you're alive.
Clayton.
The two men collided with each other in a hug. Finn felt
Oh
a
my
smile
God.
plastered on his face that was mirrored by Poe's.
It's great to see you!
Now kiss!
It's great to see you!
I can't believe it. How? The crash?
I don't know exactly. I woke up in a med bay, but then some droid put me back to sleep. When I came to, I was in a safe house out from Jakku saying that a Sith had brought me back. But BB-8 says you still saved him?
Yeah, Ray and I found him on... Wait, you mean Eliana? She saved you? Shit.
Is that her name? She wouldn't tell me. But you and who's Ray? You two saved BB-8?
Ray was a scavenger we found on Jakku with BB-8. She came back with us to Takadana. But Kylo Ren kidnapped her when the First Order attacked. We don't know what he wants with her, but we have to go back. We have to. Fuck, I can't read.
And I thought I was gonna have problems.
But we have to get her back.
That's the girl the Sith mentioned. The one who's strong in the Force? I think I know who you're talking about. Come with me. You need to talk to the General.
Finn nodded and followed Poe's lead. Every step he took was one of conviction. And whatever happened, he knew that getting Rey back was important. He knew that Eliana would agree, given how hard she took losing her. Whatever plan they came up with, that had to be their priority. He glanced behind him to see Eliana slowly coming down her ship's exit ramp. Clutching her side and staring at the ground, satisfied that she was coming at least. He turned back to follow Poe down into what looked like a large control room. The noise of everyone talking in different conversations at once made it hard to get a bearing on where he was going, so he kept his eyes focused on the back of Poe's head as he led him deeper inside the bunker to where the general was speaking with two other men.
General... Jesus. General Organa. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Finn. He needs to talk to you.
Leia turned from the men she was speaking to face him and Poe. Approaching them, she put on a fond smile. I guess
Hello,
I'll take
Finn.
Leia.
Oh, okay. You can go ahead.
Hello, Finn. Oh, fuck. I don't know where that came from. Okay.
Yeah,
Hello,
that's
Finn.
old lady
I'm
voice.
glad we have a chance to finally meet. Captain Dameron has spoken very highly of you. It was a very brave thing you did, renouncing the First Order, saving this man's life.
You
Thank you,
sound like
General.
Palpatine.
Thank you, General, but it wasn't just me. There were two of us. Finn responded politely, nodding his head. And that's my problem. The First Order has kidnapped my friend.
Han told me about the girl. Leia nodded, recalling the aftermath of the Takadana assault. We'll try to bring her back if we can.
But they took her alive, Finn stressed. And Eliana believes that Rey is strong in the Force.
Leia arched a brow at the unfamiliar name.
The Sith. Poe clarified.
Something tightened in Leia's expression. Finn and Poe could both see her tense considerably, despite her efforts to remain poised. Poe had seen the general like this before, but only when she was especially worked up about something. A part of him could understand that given the Sith's reputation in the core worlds, however, he couldn't help but be surprised just how intensely it seemed to get to her. It was already clear that Eliana was on their side, wasn't it? Wait. Okay, Lilly, do you not understand how the Empire worked? Or like the the Empire conquered the galaxy. And by and large, they kept the Sith part out of it. Most people didn't know Palpatine was a Sith. So they wouldn't have a reputation to begin with. Very true, Joe. Eliana has only spent what is effectively 24 hours with Rey. Right. That makes sense. I'm turning her into the like old grandma that smokes a lot.
I thought that was Dr. Girlfriend from Venture Brothers.
He really got that 2 packs a day sound to him right now. So you think the First Order captured her for her connection to the Force?
Fuck, I'm lost. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Finn admitted with a shameful shrug. All I know is that she's not safe with them. No, really, really.
Here, I got Eliana. You're right. She isn't.
Everyone turned around to see her running in, her eyes still red from her earlier bout of crying. She was still taking Rey's capture extremely personally and blaming herself for it, despite the reassurances both Finn and Han had that she wasn't to blame. She still couldn't really accept it. She couldn't stop wondering if she led someone else to die at her expense. There was no doubt that Jedi has.
That's her line.
Oh, shit. There's no doubt that Jedi has sensed her strength in the Force, she explained. Rey lights up like a landing zone, and even a basic Padawan like Kylo Ren could sense it.
So she's like really powerful.
Unnaturally powerful. There's something going on besides just being an exceptional Force user, but I'm not certain.
You
No
sound like
doubt
Velma.
there's.
Well, I guess they did make Velma a lesbian recently, so hey.
No doubt they're trying to turn her into a weapon at this very moment. Will that power help protect her? I mean, I'm not quite sure how the Force works, but I feel like it should at least give her a fighting chance.
It's not enough to simply have the Force, Commander Dameron. You must understand how to use it. Otherwise, you'll fall prey to the dark side and those who use it.
Okay, so Rey's in a vulnerable position. And we need to get her out of there. While I doubt Kylo Ren could do much, the Dark Jedi who trains him could do a lot to hurt Rey. We can't let that happen.
I like how she has effectively moved. She's effectively shifted the goalposts from the Sith use the dark side to Aliana uses the dark. My OC uses the dark side, but isn't as bad as the Jedi who use the dark side.
We love a morally gray Mary Sue, I guess.
She just changed the definitions of the words of the lore and what just so her OC could be like the good guy. Okay, I found it. All right. Do you know where they might have taken her?
Finn nodded. Starkiller Base. It's a hyper lightspeed weapon built into the side of Illum.
Ilum.
Built into the side of Illum, it can destroy an entire star system in one shot.
Leia, Poe, and a few people around them all suddenly bore looks of horror at Finn's words. Wait, wasn't this like off in a side room? I wasn't. I may not have been paying attention with that. I know I read it. There was a general air of unease surrounding the room and murmurs of panic from a few stragglers who had overheard. What did you just say?
You're selling chocolates.
Yes, this is exactly what I wanted for that voice.
You're
Like,
selling chocolates.
what are they selling?
Yeah. Why, I remember when people first invented chocolate. Oh, sweet chocolate. I always hated it. It's a planet-sized super weapon that they've been working on in secret for years, Finn said. It's intended to usher in the First Order's rise to power with a show of force that could eclipse the Death Star. Fucking lisp.
Oh, Criff, Poe cursed, a cold bead of sweat trickling down the side of his head.
You know, one thing I love about this fan fiction is it fixes some of the mistakes in regards to the characters of the Force Awakens, but decides not to fucking touch any of the major canonical plot holes. Like, oh, how did the First Order rise? Nah, they were just here, man. They've just been. Like, I'm gonna make a fix-it fic with my OC, but I'm not gonna bother to fix the actual problems with the writing of the movie.
I don't think anyone can actually fix what was going on in the movie, honestly. I'm not going to fault her for this one.
No, you can't fix The Last Jedi. You can fix The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah, you definitely can.
Leia grabbed another Resistance member by the arm. Get a reconnaissance flight out to Ilum and bring me back as much information about that weapon as you possibly can. Billions of lives are now at stake.
This only means we need to get out to Ilum as fast as possible,
Aliana nodded.
That weapon needs to be destroyed, and Rey needs to be retrieved.
You'd make a really good Velma.
Thank you.
Jinkies!
Jinkies, we need to retrieve Rey!
So, Tyrant, the First Order is Empire Light, I guess? How they came about and why they're here and what they do and how they're powerful throughout the entire trilogy is never explained.
Who fell down?
Amaryllis fainted.
You alright over there?
Amaryllis, you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just needed to grab something, and I thought you guys would continue going down before I had to speak again. So.
Oh, no.
It sounded like you knocked your mic over.
Yeah, it sounded like something fell over.
Oh, no, I'm alive.
Oh, there we go. Okay. We need to know everything we can about it first. How could How close is it to completion? How heavily guarded is it? If we try flying in blind, we'll only cause more problems.
I can give you specifics, Finn insisted, stepping forward. I've been stationed on that base before. I know its inner workings.
Yet I failed to mention this to Poe, who rescued me, making myself more valuable.
So,
Yes,
how,
Tyrant.
yeah, how did Finn go from being a janitor to being an actual soldier?
I don't know. That's not explained either.
Those are two completely different things.
Like the thing is, The Force Awakens is okay, but when you start to sort of peel away the layers of nostalgia, it's really bad.
Mhm.
Tyrant, Disney needed to ape ape A New Hope, otherwise people would have been mad, because the sequel, but the prequel hate was still relatively new when this was announced, or it had come back to light. So they're like, we hope that everybody wanted the New Hope again, basically, and that's what the Force Awakens was, just done terribly. The three of them nodded and moved to carry. Oh, well, hold on. I'm sorry, I lost my place because I am a moron. You can work with our engineers while the ships are out scouting. Leia nodded as she started directing everyone. Poe, get your squad out immediately. Han, I need all the sensor data from the Falcon. Finn, get over here with Paige. She'll take down everything you say. The three of them nodded and moved to carry out Leia's orders. Poe was the one to pause and look at Aliana. What do you...
What?
Oh,
Excuse me. What are you gonna do during all this? He asked. This sounds like a good time as any to have a Sith on our side.
I'll be on the ground when it's time to assault,
Aliana assured him.
Until then, I just have to wait. My lightsaber isn't much good from space. Jinkies.
Fair enough, Poe nodded, nearly about to utter a farewell before he noted the look on Aliana's face. Nervous, she was trying her best to. Okay, that's missing a comma. Nervousness, she was trying to her best to conceal, but was seeping through. Seeping though, nonetheless. He placed a hand on her shoulder, prompting her to meet his eyes. You gonna be okay?
Yeah.
She said, brushing his hand off her shoulder and schooling her features even harder. What the fuck is schooling her features? What does that even mean? Schooling. Okay. Friendly or not, this was not a safe place for her to come undone.
Please don't touch me.
Oh, my bad, Poe said apologetically, placing his hand back to his side.
how dare a
Well,
man touch me?
right? I'm an independent woman. How dare he? Well, the scouts and I will be back soon with what we find. Shouldn't be too hard to get in and out so long as we're quick. He studied her a moment longer, watching her response to his words carefully before adding, We'll get her back. Eliana couldn't help the weak smile that broke out on her lips.
Thank you.
Oh, Caesar Joe Crazy has an answer to your
What?
query. In this one,
Okay.
before every janitor is also a rifleman.
All right.
Isn't that somewhat true?
Okay, so they deploy troops to Jakku, and then it's like they just look over and see a janitor mopping, like, "Hey, you, come with us." But I'm not done mopping. I don't care. Come on. All right.
Ray bolted back into consciousness and tried to sit upright, only to realize she couldn't. She couldn't get very far. Why not just leave it as she couldn't? She glanced down at her hands and feet to see she was fastened with what looked like to to what looked like an examination table.
Kinky.
Yeah.
Like, again, while there, it's something I've noticed but hasn't really bothered me until now, but there is a lot of extra verbiage. Like, these sentences are so heavy with wording.
Yeah, it's all just like different kinds of like adjectives and verbs just amalgamated together in the weirdest way possible. Like the writing is just very questionable as you get further down this shit show.
Like, she was fastened, like, why not? She was fastened to an examination table. Oh.
I think we
Boom,
all know
done.
what examination tables look like.
She looked up and almost screamed at the sight of a masked figure standing over her. So this bitch is waking up and Kylo Ren's just looming like a creep.
We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
Oh God.
Poor
Right.
Adam Driver. That was not the role he should have
Okay.
chosen.
I love Adam Driver,
He's
honestly.
a good actor and he seems like a really, really cool guy. I just think Kylo Ren was a mistake.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Kylo Ren is a pretty terrible character, but honestly, the way that he portrayed that character and like just even down to the inflections of his voice, very impressive. And
Mhm.
I think that's really what got him going to be an even stronger actor. Like if you see him on Saturday Night Live, he's so much better than this shit that was The Force Awakens and beyond. Oh, am I doing right?
I don't know. I can't
You
decide if I want to be.
volunteered for Rey.
Oh yeah, I did.
Okay, I want to be Kylo then.
Go
Okay.
for it.
All right, this is gonna get spicy.
Where am I?
She demanded.
Oh, so okay. I'm a realist. So one thing we didn't mention about the writing in this is Rey is supposed to be like fucking buff.
Buff? Okay, I
Yes,
got
like
you.
she keep the voice the same. It just fits so well.
Okay,
Like
I
the
got
way
you.
Lily describes her is she is like tall and like buff.
Okay, I got you.
You're in my custody. Kylo Ren answered, the deep distortion of his mask echoing slightly throughout the room. That's all you need to know. He stepped closer to the table Rey was strapped on. What I need to know is where the map to Skywalker is and what your master's plans are. Tell me, or this gets bad for you.
I don't know what master you're talking
That
about.
might be better. Go.
Ray glared up at him, her hand shaking in fear. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell some creature in a mask.
Kylo Ren ruined entire generation of villains' legacy. I don't understand the looks at Balder. As in like the Baldur's Gate Balder? Or is there another Balder mission that I don't know about?
Kylo was silent for a moment before he lifted both hands to the side of his head. The mouthpiece of the mask extended outward slightly, allowing him to remove his helmet. The unmasking revealed the face of a human, skin and almost sickly pale, and irises almost as dark as his black hair. Rey's only thought was that Aliana had been right. Greasing was a perfect word to describe him.
It's also how I would describe my ex, but okay, go off.
You were right to be scared, Kylo said plainly. I mean, oh, that's another thing we failed to mention. In this fan fiction, Lily Orchard decided to portray Kylo Ren as an absolute whiny little bitch.
Oh
Shocker.
God.
Yeah, Kylo said plainly. I'm more powerful than you could possibly imagine. It was then he extended a gloved hand, reaching out with the Force and touching Rey's mind.
Immediately, Ray felt something force its way into her mind. At first it hurt, but then she felt an agony like no other as she felt this invasive force burrow into her thoughts and open every door it possibly could. She could feel her mind being drained of as much information as possible as the Dark Jedi recklessly rifled through every single thought, memory, and fleeting feeling she had ever had in her life.
Caesar.
No, that's you.
No, it's
Amarillo.
not. No, I can see them.
Oh,
She
fuck.
heard
Oh.
him say, illiterate! Illiterate!
All of us are.
Yes. I can see them. She heard him say, the traitor and the Sith. You're afraid the traitor will leave you and that you'll never see him again. And the Sith is conflicted. I can see affection, anger, and betrayal. You don't know how to feel about her anymore.
Get out of my head! Ray said through gritted teeth. She hated how close to whimpering she sounded just then. She hated feeling so vulnerable in front of this creature. She hated how she winced every time he pushed his power further into the cracks of her mind.
I see the old smuggler, he said, a hint of disdain in his voice. Oh, I see the old smuggler, he said with a hint of disdain in his voice. You looked upon him fondly, saw something of a father in him. He would have disappointed you. He could never replace the parents that abandoned you. Nyeh.
Shut up!
Kylo Ren backed away from her and circled around the table. I know you've seen the map, and I know that what the Sith's plans are.
I haven't seen either. Ray hissed, trying to pull back tears. I didn't even know she was a Sith.
A likely story. And now, you'll give me what I want, he said, reaching his hand out again.
Ray felt the force burrow into her mind again and squeezed her eyes shut, trying hard to clamp down on her mind and keep him out. Then she briefly remembered Aliana suggesting that she was force sensitive. She dismissed it, but she was a Sith. She would know. She turned her head back and looked Kylo Ren in the eye.
Oh shit, sorry. Sorry, my bad. I'm also illiterate. I'm not giving you anything, she said, trying in her mind to reverse engineer what he was doing to her like she did Starship components.
Her mind focused on the idea, picturing this connection of their minds as some sort of device, something that could be created, destroyed, or reverse engineered. Almost instantly, it began to work. Every surge of his power was met with a dampener. Every crack he attempted to invade was covered in encasing. She saw as Kylo's expression gradually became one of struggling. He pushed harder and harder, but now she understood. She could practically see the power between this connection coursed through the circuitry. Wow. So apparently Ray is a genius who can deconstruct and reconstruct starship parts in her mind.
See, this is giving me like brain blast from Jimmy Neutron energy right now. That's what I imagine is happening.
I think that's the point. I think it's supposed to be
big brain activity.
Yeah. Nani?
Nani?
Oh, you know what? I would be willing to bet that at some point, it's gonna be either Kylo or Snoke. Oh, is gonna be like, oh, you're approaching me. You're getting closer to me. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I just burned him. Oh, I saw the perfect meme for that for Forspoken today. Because apparently its budget was $1 million. So someone posted the meme of the main character being like, "I just blew $1 million with my mind." Uh, and now she could reverse the flow of power. Taking a gambit, she began peering into his mind. Immediately, she saw something. An image as clear for her as his greaseball of a man, as this greaseball of a man.
Oh
A
God.
bl-
Stop. Don't. Go- Yeah. Just there's no intimidation factor to Kylo in this.
there isn't. Like,
The virgin Kylo and the Chad Ray.
yes, exactly.
Well, and to answer your question, Broseph, yes, Kylo was a whiny little bitch in the actual movies, but in this version, he's heavily flanderized.
He is. Like,
Bitchiness is his character. Kitty.
That's my 1-year-old screaming. My cat.
what does she want now?
Attention and back scratches.
Ah. A black dais supporting a ruined, tattered ash white helmet. She knew to whom that destroyed mask belonged. How?
The
And
fuck?
she could,
Because she could read his mind.
I guess,
She knows what he knows.
and she could feel all the emotions he felt towards it.
You're afraid, she said plainly. That was very plain. She pushed harder and could see Eliana's face, glaring dismissively as she held his lightsaber arm aloft. What?
Oh
What?
yeah, Aliana has kicked Kylo Ren's ass twice, and one time it was with her lightsaber, one time it was literally she kicked his ass without it. She was disarmed.
That's just worded so weirdly. Like, as someone who knows about this stuff, but lightsaber arm aloft, like that's such a weird combination of
Yeah.
words. Yeah. This was a memory she had actually seen. A little further, and she could see a twisted monstrosity of a man glaring down and talking about what a failure he was. You're afraid that you'll never be as strong as Darth Vader, that you'll be replaced, that Amorosa will kill you.
Kylo Ren stepped back, severing the connection. He was visibly shaking, withdrawn, hand brought back in trembling. This wasn't how this was supposed to go. She was supposed to helplessly give him the information he needed. But he couldn't handle the might of a strong, independent woman. Kylo Ren is a loser incel. He will never touch boobs.
Kylo Ren needs to
he
touch
would have
grass
coaxed
before he
it.
needs to touch boobs.
He would have coaxed and molded her into his personal puppet. He would use her to destroy the Sith. This isn't right. He walked around the table and exited the room without another word, walking quickly through the halls to put more distance between her and him.
But why though? But
Very
why
simple.
though?
He's a
He
fucking
rage
pussy.
quit? Are you telling me this
Very
motherfucker rage quit?
He's
Mary
afraid.
Sue is so powerful. He had to quit and run away with his tail fucking between his legs.
Well, I'll give this author credit where credit is due. At least she kept Ray's character the same. Super powerful, Mary Sue, can't be beat, strong, independent woman,
Oh yes.
Skywalker.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. The reconnaissance flight confirmed Finn's report, Poe explained as the entire resistance stood around the holoterminal and
Hollow
clapped.
Terminal.
Holoterminal! Jesus Christ! Starkiller base is active and the weapon is charging as we speak.
There was a quiet murmur among the crowd before Admiral Akbar spoke up. How is it possible to power a weapon of that size?
What?
It uses the power of the sun. Finn explained, highlighting the
power
hydrogen
of the
processor.
sun.
Highlighting the hydrogen processor on the northern pole of the planet. As the weapon is charged, the sun is drained.
What's the range on that thing? What's the maximum output? A distressed resistance fighter asked.
Depends on how long they decide to charge it, Finn continued. A full charge could wipe out the Hosnian system in a single barrage.
Did
How
Recon
interesting.
get...
How
You see,
what an oddly specific system for
I
what
just
an oddly specific system.
see. I just want to talk about it uses the power of the sun. When I first read that, I was like, "Oh shit, they're a witch." Like that was like the first thing I thought of. I was like, "Oh, okay."
To be, my first thought was of Solaire. That was the first meme from Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Praise the sun.
Did Recon give us any intel on how we can destroy it? Poe asked. There's got to be a way to knock it out. Clayton, you want to go?
Go for it.
For the weapon to contain that much power, there must be some kind of thermal oscillator.
Right here, Finn said, pointing at the holo diagram. Precinct 47 here. The holo terminal highlighted a device that ran down deep into the core of the planet.
If we can destroy that oscillator, it might destabilize the core and cripple the weapon, maybe even the planet.
We can go in there. We hit that oscillator with everything we've got. Poe nodded. But the only problem is the planetary shields. Fighters can't get through barricades that strong.
Then we'll disable the oh wait, that's Han. Fuck.
Yep.
Then we'll disable the shields, Han said, looking at Finn. You work there. What do you got? Finn bit his lip as his brain racked for the idea. I used to do maintenance in the precinct. I know the layout. If we can land on the planet without being detected, I can get us inside.
All right then. We'll have a ground team to disable the shields and strike team to blow that weapon into hell after we do.
Sounds familiar, Han said with a cheeky grin. Didn't we already do this? Like twice?
30 years ago. Twice, even.
Lilly, don't use meta humor. Don't. Meta humor is gay as fuck. Don't do it.
Nah.
There's just one snag. The commander who mentioned the oscillator spoke up again. Hitting a few buttons on the holo terminal, Starkiller Base was instead replaced by a holo image of Kylo Ren. According to Recon, there's a hostile Jedi So, Lilly, you can't just throw the labels Jedi and Sith around and pretend like they can mean whatever you want them to mean. According to Recon, there's a hostile Jedi Padawan on the station. If he senses either of you at any point, this entire mission goes up in smoke. And even a Padawan is still deadly. Okay, that's not how the Force works. For regular people, you can be sensed, but on a planet-wide scale, that's almost impossible to locate a singular Force signature.
I can deal with that. Oh, go ahead.
Unless the bond between the two people is very, very strong. So, like, a Jedi Master could locate his Padawan on the planet, but it would take effort.
And I thought multiple people had to do that. Didn't something like that happen in the Clone Wars?
It takes multiple people to do certain things. Yeah.
Yeah, like tracking down one person on a planet. Like I thought, but one person. Yeah, sure.
Like to identify one person on the to identify like in the Clone Wars series, to identify like what Force sensitive children were being kidnapped, multiple people peered into the Force at the same time, and they probably assisted each other. But
yeah.
like to locate one specific person, yeah, you would need to do something like that.
let's see. Where are we?
I can deal with that. Ileana spoke up, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. There's an old Sith technique to cloak a small ship in the dark side of the Force. It'll make
That
the
won't be
Falcon.
detectable.
It'll make the Falcon virtually undetectable to anyone except a Sith of Anakin Skywalker's strength. Once we're inside, I can kill the Jedi while Finn and Han disable the shields.
Okay, so Anakin Skywalker's a Sith. Despite the fact that you're talking to his daughter. She's literally in the same room as Leia, and she just called her father a Sith. Accurate as the label may be, he was Darth Vader, but after he was Anakin Skywalker. That's
Yeah,
why
you
he says
can't-
Anakin Skywalker's dead.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know. Like, that's just disrespectful. Let's get down to it. Like, as a Star Wars nerd, that shit's just disrespectful.
Yeah, it's ironic considering in the EU she has a son named Anakin. Oh, had a son.
Leia frowned at that. This is an extraction and sabotage mission. Do not confront Kylo Ren unless you have no other choice. It'll only complicate matters.
Ileana narrowed her eyes at Leia. It won't be a matter of choice. The Jedi is the only truly dangerous element on the base. He won't let his prey go easily. Finding Rey means finding him.
Emperor Palpatine is a Jedi Master.
Exactly.
Foul.
Leia looked far from convinced. Rather, she simply looked irritated. Destroying that weapon is the highest priority of this mission, Lord Amorosa. I'm willing to amend the plan to help you extract your friend, but
Okay,
not
wait.
your...
I'm sorry. Go on. I'll save it for when you're done.
But not your bloodlust for Jedi. Focus on what is actually important. I mean, I kind of agree with her.
Okay, so why the fuck would she actually call her Lord?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Why would she call her
You're
that?
a Sith. Eat shit.
Yeah. Why even acknowledge the title?
Also, because Aelion is a girl, it would be Lady, not Lord.
Indeed.
Bloodlust? Ileana balked. That man attacked my friends. He practically leads the First Order. The hell are you talking about, bloodlust?
Leia's kind of right. Are we gonna acknowledge that Leia's right? Like they don't need to face Kylo Ren here, or like unless you have to, don't, because we're just gonna blow up the base anyway. How Kylo Ren survived that, by the way? Because he was on the surface of the planet.
I think he escaped on a ship. I don't know.
I guess.
I haven't seen the movie in years.
Neither have I.
I thought it was on like a escape pod. I could be very wrong, but I thought that's what it was.
See, I thought he was on the same. See, I thought he was on the surface of the planet. He just finished Rey. Rey got plot armored, contrived with the Millennium Falcon out of her situation. And then the planet blows up. Like as soon as the Falcon clears the atmosphere. Huh. I never realized that was a plot hole in before, but it is. If you can abide by these conditions, then you best be on... Oh. If you can't abide these conditions, you best be on your way, Sith. I'm risking enough by letting you be here. Perhaps you should remember whose base you're currently on before kicking up a stink.
Ileana glanced at Finn. You're seeing this too, right?
Finn nodded before speaking up. General, if we have a chance to take out a high-ranking member of the First Order, we should take it.
You're
Motherfucker, we're gonna blow up the entire planet he's on.
Yeah, like high ranking doesn't really matter. The level of destruction you'll reap is nobody's going to be able to evacuate. It's not as if, well, it's not as if they wouldn't have several high ranking members of the Order on that station to make sure everything's going okay. Like, Vader had an entire room of people, of ranked officers that he talked to and had meetings with. We're trying to take out a hyper light speed weapon as well. If you have to choose between taking out one or the other, I would go with the one that's currently at risk of destroying an entire star systems. Kylo Ren is not the priority here. Get in, get your friends, shut down the shields, get out. Stick to the plan. I don't see why this is hard.
I like how you exhale. That's a nice touch.
With all due respect, General, one technician spoke up.
Plenty of
Amoroso was specifically talking about distracting and dispatching Kylo Ren long enough for everyone else to do their jobs. What?
When you write your character to be in conflict with with another character people actually like, and then bail her out with a third character because nothing Leia has said has been wrong. Oh my god. Leia blinked, turning her head to scowl at the technician, but offering no verbal retort. A moment later, she turned her attention to Han. Excuse me. Her gaze expectant.
Han grimaced slightly before speaking up. If we're going to have a chance to pull this off, we're going to have to be flexible, he said with a slight shrug. If Ren is there, well... if Ren is there, we'll deal with him. If not, we just worry about Rey and the shields. Like, I know I've said this before in other videos, but it bugs the shit out of me that they call him Ren. I think Kylo would be his name. Ren is like the title.
Yeah.
At least that's what I always thought.
Who knows?
Yeah, no kidding, because J.J. Abrams didn't really explain what the Knights of Ren even are.
Nor did he explain, like, anything else.
Yeah, so I always thought Ren was sort of equivalent to the Darth title.
Eliana nodded in agreement. My thoughts exactly.
Leia's mouth became a thin line, clearly perturbed by the idea, but unable to voice why without derailing the entire briefing. Very well. Darth Amoroso will join Han and Finn planetside. Any other questions? Good, now leave me alone. Everyone looked around the room, seeing no other questions, comments, or concerns being raised. That's unnecessary.
Questions, comments, or concerns. I didn't realize we were taking a fucking survey after
I know,
a call to a
right?
bank.
Yes. Then we move now. May the Force be with us all. Everyone broke apart and headed for their individual stations. Han and Finn turned away for the Falcon. Eliana moved to follow her when a hand reached out and seized her by the arm, yanking her back. Eliana felt an initial surge of panic, and her hand darted to her lightsaber before she realized it was Leia, glaring at her. Her hand stayed on her lightsaber.
Yes?
Let's get one thing straight here, honey. If you're hoping to operate with the Resistance, you should know better than to question my authority in the middle of an assembly like this. You can't handle that, then you shouldn't be here.
Eliana yanked her arm out of Leia's grip.
Let's get one thing straight here, Jedi. The First Order took my friend. I'm going to get her back no matter what it takes. So your authority doesn't mean anything to me. Because I have plot armor and I am strong woman.
Oof.
I don't take orders from you. I'm here because circumstance forced me to be here. Had Ray not been captured, I'd have given you your damn droid, taken my friends, and been on my way. But that didn't happen. So until I have her back, you're stuck with me, whether you like it or not, bitch.
Oof.
I assure you, I do not like the idea of delivering this girl into the hands of the Sith one little bit. And if you think I'm going to help this girl escape the First Order just so you can make a weapon of her instead, you have another thing coming.
Eliana was positively disgusted. This Jedi was swinging for her out of the gate, just like her brother.
That's not just a force sensitive out there, Jedi. That's my friend. That's someone I care very deeply for. So back off before I make you.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't know, but the disrespect to Leia, the absolute fucking queen that she is just mind-boggling to me right now.
Better, Leia is like, hey, don't call me out in a fucking Hey, I'm in charge here. You need to get with the program if you were going to be with us. I'm not super jazzed about someone claiming to be a Sith who, who, ruled the galaxy, blew up my planet. It was responsible for the suffering of hundreds of thousands of individuals and, the deaths of millions more. Or those were Sith. We know they were Sith. You can understand my fucking hesitation. Leia scoffed, rolling her eyes. Save the melodrama for someone who'll buy it, she said dismissively. You're only here because you stand to serve our cause, not because I actually believe the slag coming out of your despicable mouth. Whatever this girl's deal is, she deserves better than to have her life utterly ruined by some half-baked Sith.
The slag. She using Transformers lingo.
Nah.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, in Transformers, slag is kind of like the equivalent of saying shit.
I mean, yeah, but in Star Wars, like, you could just call it bantha shit. She'd be better off dying on Ilum than she'd be with you.
Eliana balked at the sheer amount of vitriol Organa was spewing. She expected to encounter suspicion given her alignment, but this was on a whole different level than what she was used to. It actually hurt.
Why the hell do you care?
Right.
Like,
Jinkies, what the hell is up your ass?
like, why the hell do you care what this old woman thinks of you? You are absolutely, given that you're a Mary Sue, you're absolutely more powerful than her. I'm surprised Mary Sue just hasn't, like, gone on her own and faced Kylo and brought Rey back. My nail polish is chipping, and that's upsetting. I know better than to trust a Sith. You may have convinced the others that you're not a threat, but I won't be suckered that easily.
It's not about trust, Jedi. I got Rey into this mess. I'm getting her out so I can get in her pants.
Wait, yeah,
Not wrong at all.
not incorrect. But again, why? Why are you? Why is she having this conversation at all? Be like, all Eliana had to do was like, I understand you don't trust me. You're just gonna have to believe that my interests lie with keeping Rey alive, long enough to help you. Like, that's it. Beginning, middle, end of this conversation, like, for real. And any Sith worth their salt would not have allowed Rey anywhere near them. They would have been like, oh, you're very powerful. Well, your parents abandoned you. That must have made you very angry. You must be so lonely. Let me show you what you can do. And then she would have taken her on as an apprentice, corrupted her to the dark side, and have ruled the galaxy as father and son. Or potentially, I guess, lesbian lovers. Who knows?
Yes, but then, of course, it would eventually end with the apprentice killing the master.
Yep.
The love is very superficial.
Yep. But as unless well, so Aliana's from prior to the rule of two, so she would actually, not care if Rey took on an apprentice of her own once she was gifted the Darth Lord title. Yeah, she's not a stringent follower of the rule of two, so yeah. Rey, they could have ruled the galaxy as lesbian lovers, or so long as they stayed powerful.
Yeah, so my knowledge about Star Wars is I guess not as vast as the two of you, but Sith don't practice, or Sith also practice celibacy, but it's because they believe that attachments make them weak, right?
So the expanded universe, so the pre-Darth Bane era, no. The Sith were very open about entanglements, but everything was very when it came to the Sith, if you were sort of, fucking, they don't care. Like it's more of, oh, we're fucking, and then if we get married, it's more politically convenient. It'll grow us. We'll either have a child that's very they're a potential child that's very powerful in the Force that'll elevate our status. This if he so it was very much a transactional sort of thing. Amaryllis, check who's in the chat.
Oh, yay! Yeah, I told him. Hi, Dougie.
So, and then under the rule of two, it's implied that Xana has sex or is super fine with it, but again, it's not a expression of affection. It is a tool for getting what she wants.
Yeah, I remember that. She pretty much sent him away on his death.
Yep. Well, at least he had fun the morning before.
So I have to step away for a second and be a productive human being and put my laundry in the dryer. So I will be back. Just continue, I guess, and let me know where I pick up.
How
Go for
dare
it.
you?
I know, right? How dare I not sit here reading Star Wars fan fiction with
Hey.
the two of you? Like, how dare I?
Hey man, I'm doing my laundry too, but I'm not getting up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put mine in the dryer. I'll be right back.
It keeps sounding like she's falling over. Okay,
It
so
does.
where are we at?
Doug, it's too late. You've already doxed yourself. Here. Before Leia could respond, Han stuck his head back into the war room, beckoning to Aliana. Kid, come on. We're supposed to be prepped to leave. We're just waiting on you. You want to save your girl or what? I hope you don't. I'm taking Han. I hope you don't mind.
I guess I have no choice. You just did.
Well, you've already got Kylo, and he's gonna have so much more dialogue for the rest of this thing.
Okay, hold on. I lost track of where we're at.
Actually, you can have Han because it looks like Snoke is in this chapter.
Fine. You can have what's quite literally Diet Palpatine.
I know, right?
Okay. Fuck.
Yeah,
Where
here
are
we go. Right here. Aliana turned to look at Han, then back at Leia. There was more she wanted to say to the self-important has-been politician, and much, much more. Oh, she was gonna give her the tongue lashing of a life. She was gonna make Leia kneel before her because she had to understand that Mary Sue is better than her.
Actually, would a military general count as a politician? It depends
It
on the
depends. Yeah,
on the
it depends
system.
on how the structure of the military works. Like there are like military, like in Turkey, they had a military coup, so the military general was was also a politician, and so usually when the military becomes politicians, that it doesn't end well for anyone involved.
Okay, so Aliana turned to look at Han, then back at Leia. There's more she wanted to say to this self-important has-been politician. Much, much more. But Rey took priority. I'm coming, she said, making her way to the door after Han. She didn't give Han a single word of farewell. Or she didn't give Leia a single word of farewell. She didn't owe her one. Bitch.
As the two of them made their way out towards the hangars, Poe ran up alongside them and smiled at Aliana. I just wanted to thank you in person for saving me, Finn. Me, Finn, and BB-8. You helped salvage my mission, and we'd be sitting ducks if it wasn't for you.
It's always weird when they use expressions that involve earth animals. Like what the fuck is a duck?
Just a little bit, Kookaburra.
Okay, I've returned.
She returns.
I return! All right, where am I?
Pretty sure it's here.
Okay.
There's no thanks necessary, Captain Dameron. I was the one who screwed it up in the first place. I was just correcting my mistake. And now I'm about to go correct 2 more. Captain, you're a good pilot, right?
Poe turned to look at Aliana again. I'm definitely a fast pilot. Why do you ask?
That's not what she asked. She asked if you were good, not fast.
Yeah.
There's a Sith warship sitting in the eastern docking bay. It has a lot of heavy weapons on hand, guns, turbo lasers, missiles, the whole damn party. If you can fly it, it'll make blasting that planet a hell of a lot easier.
Poe's eyes widened with surprise. You want me to fly your ship on the strike mission?
Who better to do so than the captain? Besides, the First Order is so desperate to replicate the glory of the Empire. Destroying their plans with a relic of the era they idolize has a certain poetic justice to it. Wouldn't you say?
An almost wicked grin spreads across Poe's face. I like how we switched from past tense to present tense with, widened and then spreads.
Yep.
Fantastic writing. Absolutely, Lord Amorosa.
Like, calling
It's-
her Lord Emerosa would imply that you acknowledge her as an authority figure.
It's lady on top of that. It's lady.
Aliana nodded. Good. May the First Force serve you well, Captain.
Hey, I want to be Hux.
You're already Kylo Ren. Give Hux to Liz.
Fine. But she already plays like what? 3? No.
She's play
like
she's
3 or 4 characters.
Yeah, so
Fine. I'll let
yeah,
you.
you can be Hux, Caesar.
Okay.
I called dibs on Snoke.
Yeah, you can have him.
But I was like, okay, so the Empire didn't idealize the previous eras of the Sith. They viewed them like Palpatine would have viewed them as failures, and most people wouldn't have really known about them. Like
Right.
the Sith Wars happened thousands of years ago.
Yeah, not to mention the Empire were humans. A lot of the old Sith were aliens.
Yeah. Yet again, you come before me a failure. Snoke said as he looked down on Kylo Ren. You couldn't even break into the mind of a girl with no training in the Force. A girl so distracted she couldn't tell her companion was a Sith. What a waste of blood you are.
The Force is strong with her, Ren said in an attempt to defend himself. The Sith, she must have prepared her mind for this without anyone knowing. Weaponized her somehow. I can still get the information we need. I can still still turn her to our cause. I just need more time.
I like how everyone has begun to refer to Rey as a weapon. like she can't be, powerful and corrupted by the dark side on her own. She has to be weaponized to do it.
Time is something we don't have, Hux interrupted before turning his attention to Snoke. Supreme Leader, our scout reported resistance activity near the planet. A reconnaissance force. It seems they know about Starkiller Base and its capabilities now. Hux tilted his head in Kylo's direction and sneered, as if someone had led them here. It was the traitor, FN2187, Kylo Ren growled. Snoke go on.
How long until the weapon is charged?
6 hours at most, Supreme Leader, Hux said. He's supposed to be nervous. Fuck. 6 hours at most, Supreme Leader, Hux said, nervous at how this would anger Snoke. Allow me to lick your boots for you, sir.
Fortify the weapon's defenses and prepare for an assault, Snoke ordered. From this moment on, you are in command of Starkiller Base, General Hux. Now leave me to deal with this failure.
Thank you, Supreme Leader, Hux said with a bow. I won't let you down. With that, the Admiral turned his heels and left the room. What?
Can we decide on Hux's title? Is he an admiral or is he a general?
I prefer, well, I guess they really are the same thing, just depends on what branch of the military.
I was gonna say.
But you can't hold both titles.
Admiral sounds cooler.
I agree.
With that, the Admiral turned his heels and left the room. Kylo was left alone with a projected image of Snoke looming over him, even as the hologram even as a hologram being sent from light years away, he felt helpless under his master's gaze.
You have failed at every stage of this mission. All because you refuse to acknowledge the Sith as your superior.
I mean, I don't understand what he's trying to say.
Is Kylo okay? Hold on.
Yeah,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is he supposed to just roll over and let her walk on him?
I guess. I guess he's trying to say, like, oh, you need, like, she's better than you. You need to quit pretending that's not true and focus on actually fighting her.
Yeah, just accept you're a fragile white male.
Yeah. She will come for the girl. Your slight against her will be answered for in your blood. You will fall before her this entire Whoa, okay, I just misread the crap out of that. You will fall before her, and this entire operation will crumble and burn as a result of your incompetence. The Supreme Leader all but roared at Kylo as he continued. I'm sending your fellow knights to deal with the Sith. Well, you finish what you started and take care of the girl. You will not engage the Sith when she arrives. Is that clear?
Well, thank you, Lily, for acknowledging the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
I'll give credit where it's due. Good job. Kylo
How
looked
much you
up.
want to bet they're all women?
Nah.
I mean,
It's a safe bet.
yes. What are they all gonna kill Kylo and all the ladies are gonna have a big lesbian orgy or something?
Who knows?
That
Hey.
better be the grand finale.
It's rated T.
This needs to be like, the ending needs to be like the ending of Sausage Party, if you guys have ever seen that movie.
Yes.
That wretched fucking movie. It needs to
Oh,
be like
God,
that,
it's
or
so
I'm gonna be
bad.
disappointed.
That movie's so bad, but so good. Like, it's so bad, but so good.
It's honestly, it's like the perfect middle ground between what you can do and what you really shouldn't do.
Uh-huh.
Not a lot of media meets that fine line. That's why I can enjoy it for the shit show that it is.
Kylo Ren looked up at Snoke, his hands twitching with rage. Yes, Supreme Leader.
Snoke knew that Ren had absolutely no intention of listening to him, but at the very least the Sith would be taken care of even if Ren was killed in the process. He shut off the holo terminal and left Kylo Ren alone in the cavern. He was going to be in need of a new apprentice soon. This girl would be an ideal candidate. Kylo Ren turned and walked out of the cavern, a plan of action slowly but surely forming in his mind. But the first order of business was dealing with the girl. Being humiliated by the Sith was one thing, but this scavenging nobody was not going to get the better of him. This he swore. How dare a woman be better than me at something?
The amount of incel and red pill in this, Kylo Ren could honestly run a subreddit.
Also, like, if Snoke knows Kylo's gonna fucking disobey him, why didn't he threaten him more? Like, straight up, Xana momentarily betrayed Darth Bane, and he almost fucking killed her for it. Like, the idea of potentially disobeying your master was not something that should even potentially cross your master's mind.
Oh, was that when she tried to, I guess, sorry. I'm sorry.
It's in the second book.
I'm starting to
after,
get drunk. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's book 2. It's right when she tries to take on an apprentice, but she's actually tricking him into just so she can take all of his research. Right.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear the last part. I was reading Tyrant King's comment.
Ah!
I like Shaun of the Dead. It's a good movie.
So you're referring to book 2 where Xana takes on or pretends to take on another apprentice just so she
Yes.
can take his research.
Yes. Yeah, she wants that call out. She wants the immortality thing.
How long until we reach Starkiller Base? Eliana asked as she stood in the cockpit doorway. The longer this took, the more tense she became. She needed a distraction. Something to occupy her time.
Oh
Wink,
no.
wink.
Oh no, Eliani's horny. Run, everybody flee.
That's exactly how I read that shit. Like, I don't know if Lily intended that to be suggestive, but
it
either
is.
way,
Like,
but it
it's
is.
it's written that way.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking bad. Let's be real, that's pretty
It's
fucking
written
bad.
as if Eliana is being horny on Maine.
Nah.
About an hour, Han answered. We'll be coming in for rough landing, so we'll need to be ready.
I can do that. Eliana nodded, laying a hand on Finn's shoulder. You still have Skywalker's lightsaber?
Yep, I got it right. Wait, Skywalker's lightsaber?
Yup. Luke's and Anakin's before him.
What? Well, you didn't tell me that before you gave it to me, Finn said incredulously.
It's a lightsaber, dumbass. Who used to own it isn't that important. Do yourself a favor, though. Don't think about who or what that weapon has killed.
Yes, the youngling cleaver.
Anakin Skywalker, orphan maker.
Oh, orphan slayer. Yeah.
Well, the younglings may or may not be orphans.
I know. What would you call a parent who lost their children then? I know, an orphaner.
I am not gonna say what I was gonna say, but yeah, there is no real word for it.
I think because to put a word for that would require us to define the feeling of losing a child in a parent's
choices.
eyes. God damn, man.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I was about to examine like this deep and philosophical shit, and you're just gonna like, here's an abortion joke.
Man's keeps it simple.
Like, I was about to be like, how could you possibly define the feeling of losing a child with the singular word?
Like,
Or all that shit. Nah, here's an
okay.
abortion joke.
Okay,
Pro-laugh.
Well, I guess if a woman who lost her husband is a widow and a man who lost his wife is a widower, then I guess parents who lost their children is an orphaner.
Okay, you know what? Fair.
But I digress. Fuck, where are we at?
We are here.
Finn looked at Eliana with concern. Why? Why did I?
I said don't think about it. It's a weapon. It's useful. Nothing more. Now come on. I want you to practice with it. You never know what we'll run into on the planet's surface.
Fuck, I read that wrong. It's what did it?
Well, that's why I cut you off pretty quick. I tried my best to.
If you encounter Kylo Ren, you want to be able to survive.
Yeah. Finn nodded and followed Eliana, curious as to what she had alluded to regarding what the lightsaber had killed, but putting it out of her mind, like she'd said. Wait, her? That's a mess up.
Yeah, it is.
That's a mess up.
I had something to say. Oh, so I guess we're just setting up for Finn to take on maybe like 2 Knights of Ren at the same time, utterly fail at it, and then Rey to come in and save him.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, Amaryllis, this thing is 47 chapters long.
For fuck's sake, what fucking chapter are we on right now? This has been
8.
going on forever.
8.
Oh my.
This has been we've done this for a year.
No fucking way. No.
Yeah.
No.
We started reading this about a year ago, and we've just gone chapter by chapter.
And
we're almost at the end of the movie too.
This is disgusting.
Yes.
Just putting it plainly, this is disgusting.
Be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more of our content.
Very true. Okay, we're here. Eliana proved to be an effective teacher in only 15 minutes. Jesus. Finn had a full grasp of the most basic style of lights. What?
That's not how that works, but I guess Eliana can do anything. What can't this woman do?
Which Eliana had called a name he hadn't quite caught when she said it. He had to admit it felt good to be swinging the lightsaber with more control than he had on Takanda. That's not how you pronounce that.
Is Finn going to be force sensitive?
Who knows? He was supposed to be, I think, in the original, but then they changed it.
Oh God. I don't want to go into another lecture about how the sequel trilogy could have been better, so keep going.
He actually felt like he could hold his own. A lightsaber wasn't too different from a vibroblade or riot baton, which he was extremely well trained in. But the blade of pure plasma made it feel weightless and unbalanced. It had taken some time to get used to and to its unique feeling in his hand, especially with how the hilt buzzed. The weapons were easy though. Finn was one of the most talented marksmen in the First Order, and weapons training was where he excelled. Though it had taken time to get used to the unique feel of the lightsaber, once he had it, it was like any other melee weapon. Wow. Okay. So I guess we're just adding to Finn's character, which honestly doesn't hurt. It's a little weird that for the most talented marksman in the First Order, his first mission was the one he went on. Like
Wait,
again, making Finn a veteran of the First Order makes so much more sense.
but he's still a janitor in the story.
Also true.
So he's like he part-time mopping floors, part-time marksman.
Part-time Jedi now, I guess.
Yes.
Oh, Tyrant, he absolutely is. There's no question. And Finn is going to succeed for like 3 seconds, but ultimately, like, it'll be a numbers thing. So Finn will if so Finn will like fail because of numbers and his inexperience, and then Rey will save him. As the two shut off their lightsabers, Finn cast a glance towards his teacher. She was focused on the practice, but he could tell her mind was drifting elsewhere. He wasn't certain how he knew that. He could just feel her anxiety.
That's a normal thing.
God, I feel so sorry for Finn. Even in this fan fiction, he's being screwed over.
Probably.
Ah, shit. Where are we at?
I'm worried.
We're on Finn's line. I'm worried about her too.
Oh crap.
I
Sorry,
have it
man.
highlighted on screen.
Sorry, I lost track. I'm reading it on my own tab.
Ah.
She will be fine. Hey, she'll be fine. Finn said reassuringly. The first thing that girl did when I met her was knock me on my ass, and I'm a trained soldier. You suck. You fucking suck.
Okay, yo, we were up here. You skipped like a whole 2
I
paragraphs.
thought you said that's where I. Oh,
No, the line was, I'm worried about her too.
sorry, man. I'm getting drunk right now.
You're good.
As you should be.
Yes.
Aliana felt a dismissive retort.
I'm worried about her too, he said, laying a hand on her shoulder.
Aliana felt a dismissive retort begin to form in her throat, but she bit it back. This was Finn. She trusted him enough, to be honest.
I wanted to keep her safe from this. I really did. But one mistake, and I let that sleazy scumbag take her away. What if she isn't okay after all this?
Hey, back off, bitch. Raise mine.
Meh.
Okay. She'll be fine, Finn said reassuringly. The first thing that girl did when I met her was knock me on my ass. And I'm a trained soldier. You fucking suck. She's tough as Durasteel. And if she has the potential you say she does, then she'll be okay. And we will save her, I promise.
Be
How did you-
careful. Oh,
You're
go
a
ahead.
trained soldier and you got beaten up by some civilian.
Big
It
brain.
could happen, but
It shouldn't.
yeah, it kind
You're
of
a
should.
slave soldier trained from early childhood.
Right.
Be careful making promises you can't keep. But thanks for being here.
Someone's got to watch your back. Finn smiled, squeezing her shoulder.
Ileana's eyes shimmered with unshed tears, and she leaned in and wrapped her arms around his shoulders, hugging him tightly. Thanks, Finn. We love character development.
And then Finn proceeded to grope her ass.
And that's how she got her stressed out.
Rey needed to get out of these restraints. She knew enough to repel the Dark Jedi, but she didn't know how many repeated assaults she could endure before her strength would give out. Please, you're a Mary Sue. Ooh, literally, you figured out how to do it by big braining your way out of it. She struggled at the restraints, trying to see if she could use the Force to unlock them, but it was no use. She couldn't make the release lever wiggle. She couldn't apply enough pressure to something she couldn't see. Looking around the room, she saw the reflection of an armed guard at the doorway. An idea struck her. If she could reach into someone's mind, maybe she could influence it. She pushed the trooper's mind in the same way she had pushed at Kylo Ren. With no other alternatives, she just spoke out loud.
You
Well,
will
that-
remove. Go ahead.
Okay, well, that's a better explanation for how she knew how to do the Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, rather than her just suddenly knowing she can do it.
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open.
Yes. The trooper halted and walked into the room. Excuse me, he asked, none too kindly.
Rey looked up at the trooper as he walked around to the front of the table. It was pretty clear that her initial attempt didn't work. She bit back on her frustration and, unsure of how a foot soldier's mind was harder to influence than a dark Jedi's, and tried again. God, she tags it with Kylo Ren bashing, but damn, I was not really expecting fodder to be better than him.
Well, here's what I'm concerned about. Wouldn't you want to keep everyone near? If you were Kylo Ren, wouldn't you want to keep everyone near you with a malleable mind? That's what I don't understand.
I agree. That's a good point.
Yeah, I the only explanation I could think of is you wouldn't want that for the prison guards themselves. That's the only explanation I can think of, but I don't think this author was too smart enough to even think of that.
No. And there's and Lilly also hates Kylo Ren purely because he's a white male.
Barely a white
He-
male upon first glance.
She's projected all her worst traits or traits she believes men and white people have onto Kylo Ren because he's the villain.
I mean, Lily Orchard
Could
is white, though, isn't he? Or she, whatever.
I don't know. Probably
Sounds like a
She's
white as fuck
Canadian.
name.
I mean, Lily Orchard is also a trans woman, so.
Basically, because he opposes diversity, Kylo Ren is evil. But also, he can't be a threat because diversity is our strength.
So I think I'm gonna quit here for me. Just
You're
because
good.
my mouth is starting to hurt. It's my
Yeah.
wisdom teeth, so I gotta quit for a bit. So,
All right. Yep.
Thank you guys for allowing me on. I hope to have another opportunity in the future. Toodaloo.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, Tyrant, Lily is very pasty for a Native American.
She is.
I mean, a good chunk
At
of
least
white
according
people.
to her avatar.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Lily has some Middle Eastern or Italian. Well, no, Italian's white.
No,
I'm Italian.
she has a Native American grandfather apparently.
Oh God, feel sorry for him.
Yeah, but she's never claimed any specific tribe.
Look what the white man has done to my grandson.
Yeah, exactly.
And we
Here
were
we go.
on. Yeah.
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open. No, that's
I'll tighten those restraints, scavenger scum.
This was infuriating. This trooper's mind wouldn't give, and the tingling feeling in the back of Rey's mind told her that Kylo Ren was on his way.
Oh
She couldn't
God, I see what you mean now. How the fuck is this guy resisting her better than Kylo?
Yeah. Like, Rey figured out how to penetrate so deep into Kylo Ren's mind, and she basically knew he was just an incel who needed to go touch grass. But this trooper, for some reason, is just like, nah, my mind is a steel fucking trap. Like, nothing gets in that I don't want in, and nothing gets out that I don't want out.
Uh, wait.
Her brow furrowed as she gave the stormtrooper a dirty look, her eyes narrowing on his throat. Her unseen power acting on her subconscious thought. The foot soldier suddenly felt an iron grip on his throat, stopping his breathing altogether. He frantically clawed at his neck, trying to pry whatever invisible power was strangling him, but to no avail.
Oh, dark side powers.
You will remove these restraints and leave this cell with the door open, she said again with venom in her voice.
In a breathless plea for his life, the trooper responded, "Okay, bitch, stop choking me. I'll do it. I'll remove these restraints and leave the door open." So, okay, is this the Jedi mind trick, or is it just because she's choking him into submission?
She's choking him into submission. As an avatar of the diversity, she's choking the evil white man into submission.
Yes. And we know he's a white man because he's played by Daniel Craig.
Yeah, but what's really, really funny is that Lilly has implied earlier in this fic that all the stormtroopers are black.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Fuck.
So the avatar of female diversity and power has now effectively strangled what canonic, at least within the world of this fan fiction, is a black person.
I mean, yeah.
She's literally strangled him to demand what she wants.
Typical white girl.
He reached out and fumbled with the controls for the restraints, unlocking them and freeing Rey's hands and feet. That didn't satisfy her, however. She glanced at his gun. And you'll hand over your weapon.
The trooper handed his rifle over to her, and Rey took it. She released her grip on his throat and took a large gasp of air, stumbling back and hitting the wall. Not losing a second, Rey lifted the rifle and pointed it at him. After just a few seconds of breathing, he nodded and stood up, hurrying to the door controls and opening them. For a very brief moment, he felt relief wash over him at having been allowed to live.
That was when Rey fired the rifle and blasted clean through his helmet.
What the fuck?
The trooper collapsed on the floor, and Rey stepped over him and hurried as far down the corridor as she could. She knew she couldn't handle another confrontation, so she ducked into an access port and climbed through the maintenance shafts of the base.
In
There
the
had to be a
movie,
way
she
out
just
of here.
used
She
the
just knew
Jedi
it.
mind trick and made him walk away. What the fuck?
What the fuck? So instead of just having her be able to do the mind trick, like, we need to make Kylo Ren look like a fucking incel more. So we're gonna let Rey force choke her way out of this situation.
Remember, the stormtroopers in the First Order are slaves. They're slave soldiers.
And according to Lilly, they're all black.
Lily Orchard me. Oh, keep going.
Sorry about that. At that very moment,
To answer your question, Tyrant, it's because Lily Orchard is fucking nuts.
At that very moment, Kylo Ren returned to the corridor. She had just fled from and made his way to the interrogation chamber. He opened the door to realize that the girl was nowhere to be found. Instead, he found a dead trooper with a blaster wound straight through the back of his head, his rifle pilfered from his person.
No! No! Kylo muttered to himself, his body rumbling with growing rage. The girl couldn't have escaped. She's a woman. Women can't escape. How has she done it? She couldn't have used the Force. She had no training. Yeah, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
No! He bellowed before drawing his lightsaber and slashing up the fallen trooper on the floor. His rage then turned to the chair and the walls of the room, sparks of cinders flying everywhere. Everything had to be ruined. The girl was nowhere to be seen, and somehow she had managed to escape.
Hold on.
He had to find her before his fellow knights arrived, lest his failure be reported back to the supreme leader. He wouldn't fail. He couldn't fail.
Outside, 2 stormtroopers stopped just short of the doorway to see sparks flying through the door and Kylo Ren screaming inside. They looked down as the severed arm of the guard came flying out of the room and collided with the opposite wall of the corridor. See what I mean, Carl? The severance package.
Haha.
So,
I'm curious how the arm flew out in the first place.
good question. Better question. Did we have Rey get out of this situation by executing the stormtrooper purely for Kylo Ren to slice apart the corpse just so Lilly could have this joke?
Oh, Christ.
Because it feels like that might have been what happened. It feels like Lilly watched this scene and was like, you know what? This needs some commentary from the stormtroopers.
Okay, it could have worked if it could have worked if, like as Tyrant suggested, just use the or use the Force to just restrain him on the chair, and then Kylo cuts him up. God, this story is so dumb. Let's keep going.
Thank God we're almost done with the chapter.
Kid, we're coming in hot. We need you up here, Han called out from the cockpit.
Why? Aliana's eyes opened as Han's voice broke her meditation, and she sighed. She pulled... Ugh, fucking desert-bound hermit. It is... she's so sad. She has to move rocks. Ow. Little shit. I was just giving you love.
Is the cat attacking again?
He was up here on my desk, and he was not appreciative of the pets. She pulled herself to her feet and made her way to the cockpit. The closer they got to finding Rey, the more anxious she felt. She couldn't keep her identity secret anymore. Rey was going to find out she was a Sith the moment she found her. It wasn't like she could go through the entire base without the Force or her lightsaber. The thought made her nervous. She knew this day was coming, but the uncertainty in Rey's reaction sent waves of anxiety up her spine. I'm so nervous. What if Rey doesn't like me? She sat down in a passenger chair and tried to relax as she wrapped the Falcon in a cloak of the dark side. Beside her, Han and Chewie looked around, feeling a chill run through them as Aliana hid them in the Force. Neither of them were Force sensitive, but the technique the Sith was using gave them a foreboding feeling regardless.
All right, get ready, Finn said as he entered the cockpit. We still have to bypass the first order patrols once we leave hyperspace. Already on that, Han said as Han said, his hand on the lightspeed switch. What? How? Finn asked. We exit hyperspace in the planet's atmosphere, Han explained. What? We can't do that, Finn protested. Sure we can, Han countered. If we're lucky. Chewie
Rawr.
let out a roar in protest. Oh,
It's actually not that bad. That's you.
Don't take his side on this. Finn looked over at Eliana. Allie, a little help?
I like this plan. The faster we get on the planet, the better. Bra-
Oh.
Yeah.
Brace yourselves, Han shouted. We drop out now.
With the flip of the switch, the Falcon dropped from hyperspace. The viewport flashed white for a moment before everyone in the cockpit was met with the sight of a tundra. Han pulled up hard on the back of the the back of the Falcon just scraping against the icy surface of the planet. With a grunt of frustration, he managed to pull the Falcon back into the air just before they would have crashed into the side of a cliff. He sighed in relief as he lowered the Falcon again, flying down through a forest and clipping trees every step of the way.
Pull up higher, Finn stressed, grabbing Han by the shoulder. If I do, their scanners will pick us up. And unless the Sith knows how to interfere with scanning technology, she's practically tech illiterate.
Eliana opened one eye and glared at Finn.
Well, I think that's her. That's her line.
No, that's you. That's Han.
Oh, well, there you go. Now sit down and shut up.
The Falcon maintained its course. After a moment, they found a discreet clearing in the proximity of Precinct 47. They touched down, the freighter sinking slightly into the snow.
All right, if you have anything heavier to wear, put it on now, Han warned. This planet is cold as hell.
Eliana nodded as she stood up, heading for the cargo hold where she'd stashed her gear. Pulling out her cloak, she slipped it on and fastened it beneath her belt. She always liked wearing her cloak. It made her feel more like a proper Sith. Remember, guys, cloaks are cool.
Yes.
They're all dark and mysterious, and the people who wear them are cool. I mean, I'm not disregarding that. I would enjoy a proper cloak, but for the purposes of this, it's dumb. For all her subterfuge, Eliana had no actual shame about being a Sith. On the contrary, she was quite proud of it, and it had been ever since her mother had been killed. Rey was the first time she'd ever hesitated about identifying herself, largely because of her experience in doing so in the past. Her pride in where she came from didn't exactly make her many friends. It was just how she actually cared. She pulled her gloves on and hooked her lightsaber onto her belt when she left Han standing in the doorway watching her. What is it?
You look distracted, Han said as he fastened a heavy glove onto his hand. Anything you want to deal with before we need you absolutely focused on the mission?
The Sith sighed heavily. It's just, I've never felt ashamed for who I was before. The Sith have a reputation, to be sure, but my family always took pride in our heritage. So do I. But I care about Rey, and because of that, I came in the I came the closest I've ever been to feeling ashamed of being a Sith. She hung her head low, her thick curly hair falling down to conceal her face. What would Mother think of me if she saw me like this?
She'd think you're a pathetic sack of shit.
No, that's not the line.
I think she'd see a girl who's in love and who doesn't want to risk losing someone she cares about, Han said, sitting down on a crate. Do you really think she'd be disappointed in you for that?
Eliana looked up briefly as she fumbled with her belt. Is she what? I thought she was dressed. No, I guess not. But that doesn't make me any less scared to face Ray. I've been lying to her for so long. There's no way she isn't going to be furious with me. I haven't felt this scared since Corellia.
What was Corellia? Was that in the story?
Nope.
Okay, it's just a planet. Han let out a somber sigh. As unfortunate it was, there was still time. They were still on a timetable. He placed a hand on Eliana's shoulder before talking. I get that you're scared you'll lose her before you'll you'll lose her for fuck this alcohol.
Yeah.
I get that you're scared you'll lose her for telling the truth. Still, there's a chance that she'll get over it, but only if you and her live long enough to get off this rock before it blows. Think you can make that happen?
Eliana clenched her jaw slightly before taking a deep breath and looking Han in the eyes. You mean can I bust through this precinct, lightsaber blazing, cutting through the first order defenses, turn off the shield generator to the base, and grab Rey from whatever hellish torture that slimeball Kylo Ren put her through on the way out?
Sure, why not? Han
In my
replied.
sleep. Because I am Mary Sue. And I have the power. Namely, the writer won't let me do anything meaningful. Ray took a moment to breathe as she hid inside the access point on the main corridor. It had been an hour of crawling from tunnel to tunnel, hurrying down corridors and dodging stormtroopers. On one occasion, and she'd actually hid from Kylo Ren's senses by thinking the kind of thought she imagined a stormtrooper would think. It had actually worked, and he didn't even notice this where she was hiding. That was a trick she would have to remember. She needed to rest. This much climbing, crawling, and stealth had left her exhausted, and she was still nowhere near an exit or a hangar bay. The base was simply too large. As she sat nestled among the wires and cables, she quietly wondered where Finn and Aliana were. She didn't dare hope that they were coming for her. She'd made that mistake before, and now staying put wouldn't do her any good. What? What? At what point was it like established that that Ray believes Finn and Aliana wouldn't come for her? I guess. Whatever the Sith wanted her for, she had to assume she'd given up. She had to rely on herself and these abilities she was only just beginning to understand. With enough rest, she could probably compel another hapless trooper to do her bidding, but to what end? If she could maybe find a hangar, she could hijack a ship and get off the planet. The plan came with an entire that plan came with an entire cascade of problems, but admittedly, her options were very limited. I've been reading in this in Aliana's voice, and I apologize. If she didn't think of something, she may very well just sit here her where she was and wait for death, something she was not interested in doing. Why even mention it then? Even as hopeless as her situation had become, she physically couldn't find it within herself to give up. She had to be there had to be a way out of this place. She knew it. After another moment, she had fully caught her breath and peeked out from the access point. The corridor was empty, and Ray felt brave enough to hurry through it to try and find some place to get her bearings. As she tore off down the hallway, she felt overcome with an enormous wave of sadness and fear. It felt just as alien to her as the hatred she'd felt the last time she'd looked at Aliana. She had looked at Aliana in the eye, but it also felt duller. It wasn't the same kind of sensation. It was a lot more distant. It felt like it was felt like it was closing around her rather than coming from inside her. What? Maybe she was sensing the feelings of someone this time. But who? She couldn't imagine Kylo Ren feeling like this, and his thoughts had felt a lot louder and clearer for whatever reason. Still, this was something she recognized, the presence The way the sadness and fear rippled over her, there was something familiar about it, almost comforting. Oof. Then she stopped dead in her tracks as it hit her. She'd felt this similar kind of sensation on the Fury when she was thrown into the wall, and Eliana had been checking her to see if she was all right. Was was she feeling Eliana through the Force? Was she sad, scared? About what? Ray shook her head. She couldn't focus on whatever this feeling was, not when her life was on the line. Her own survival was the priority here. She wouldn't waste her time hoping for someone else to come for her. Never again. Her fate was in her own hands now. I am a strong, independent woman. Oop, there we go. Whew. Eliana grunted as she forced her lightsaber through an unsuspecting stormtrooper and kicked him down into the chasm. Why the First Order didn't install guardrails completely eluded her, but they proved useful for disposing of the bodies. Han, Finn, and Chewie followed along behind her, watching her back and peripherals as she led them through the massive complex. Finn instructed her on which way the shield generator controls could be found. Because Rey's hot, Tyrant, and Alien wants to get up in them guts.
Yes, because they had a couple good conversations with each other. Ray is good at mechanics and she's not, so they
Yeah.
complement each other.
Do you actually know how to shut down the shield generator? Aelion asked as she used the Force to mind control a stormtrooper and make him jump into the chasm. Finn attempted to ignore the admittedly cold-blooded technique Aeliana had just used and attempted to give her a satisfactory answer.
I mean, we got lightsabers. That should do the trick. That should do the trick, shouldn't it?
Aeliana glared at Finn. If hitting something with lightsabers was enough to bring the entire base down, Kylo Ren would have done that for us long ago. Getting to the generator won't get us very far if we don't know how to shut it off. Aeliana lifted her hand and signaled for them to stop as she heard the loud, disciplined footsteps of a commanding officer. She looked up to see a stormtrooper in an extremely shiny Durasteel armor and a side cape walking on the catwalk overhead. Who's that?
Captain Phasma, Finn said with a shudder. She commands the ground troops. I'm surprised she hasn't heard us yet.
Aeliana pursed her lips and thought, you think she knows how to turn off the generator?
Finn's face lit up as he understood what Aelion was getting at. Oh, absolutely.
Great. Lead us up somewhere we can cut off her patrol. Well, get ready to body slam a captain, Chewie. I like you.
Finn directed them to the upper level, dispatching stormtroopers every step of the way. Phasma's patrol took her around the main corridors and causeways in a route that extended 20 kilometers. If they missed her, it would take an hour to find her again, which was time they didn't have, especially if they wanted to find Rey and blow the base before the Republic was completely destroyed. Oh,
That's Han.
You know, this is a lot more familiar than I thought it would be, Han remarked as they climbed an access hatch to the upper levels.
How so?
On the Death Star, we had a Jedi with us, Han explained, checking below to make sure Chewie wasn't lagging behind. Hopefully this ends better. Yeah, hopefully I don't die like he did. Lilly, just because you can acknowledge how repetitive this story is doesn't mean your writing is good.
What happened to him?
Vader killed him.
That's comforting. The entire group climbed out of the hatch as quickly as they could. With quiet but hurried steps, they rushed to catch up with Phasma. Crossing the catwalk, they made it to a causeway that intersected with the main corridors. Eliana motioned for the group to hang back. She closed her eyes and reached out with her senses. Whew. Her augmented hearing caught the sound of footsteps, heavier than most stormtroopers. Chewie! She whispered, calling him to the front of the group. The Wookiee stood ready to sprint down the walkway on command. Ali narrowed her gaze at the end, not waiting until Phasma was in sight before she signaled Chewie to charge. By the time the captain was about to turn the corner, the Wookiee struck true, tackling her into the wall. Eliana drew her lightsaber and pointed it at Phasma's throat. Hello, Captain.
You must be the Sith that disgraced the general, Phasma grunted, coughing from the sheer force of Chewie slamming her into the wall.
Nice to know I'm appreciated. Now you're gonna help us kill all your friends.
Why would I do that? Phasma countered. Eliana could almost hear the scowl from behind the helmet.
Oh, because otherwise, you're going to find out how the dark side can make you feel your limbs being burnt to a crisp after I already removed them from your person.
Phasma was quiet for a moment. The shield controls that way.
Eliana motioned for Finn to keep her at gunpoint, who approached with a wary look on his face as he motioned for Phasma to follow.
Bitch, you psycho.
Understandable. It helps to be terrifying, Eliana said, glancing down at the chasm. What she saw made her heart leap. Hey, Finn, do you think you can handle the shields on your own?
Why?
Maybe? Eliana pointed down 2 levels below and Finn followed her to see Rey crawling out of a trench wall and up onto the causeway. His eyes widened and as he looked at Eliana. Yeah, I can handle this. You make sure she's safe. Got it. Eliana smiled, grabbing Finn's shoulder and giving it an affectionate squeeze. We'll meet up later.
Finn nodded and turned back to Phasma, his rifle trained on her back as the group ushered her over to the shield controls. Eliana, meanwhile, lowered herself down to drop down the catwalk below.
Wow.
Yeah. She landed one level lower than the other. Oh no, she landed one level lower than the other. By the time she was level with Rey, the other woman's back was to her as she frantically pointed her rifle to and fro.
I refuse. I refuse. Rey, clearing her throat, Eliana prepared herself for the moment of truth. She decided to speak softly, wanting Rey to get Rey's attention without giving her a reason to fire blindly behind her.
Hello there.
No. 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 You know better. Rey whipped around, rifle in position, only for her eyes to widen at the sight of Eliana. Miss me? Eliana asked right before a blaster bolt just barely missed the side of her face. Whoa! Stay back, Sith! Eliana felt her chest tighten at Rey's anger. She already knew. Despite her anxiety, she didn't turn away as much as a part of her wanted to cut her losses and run. She couldn't, not without getting them off the planet first. Rey, we came back for you, she said slowly, keeping her hands elevated from her sides and away from her lightsaber. Rey kept the rifle trained on Eliana, a storm of conflicting feelings raging inside her mind. Who's we? She demanded. Finn, Han, and Chewie. They're on the upper levels. We can meet up with them and then get off this planet together. Why should I believe you? Oh, after all the time you spent lying to me? Yeah, but she wasn't actively causing you harm or, lying to you about. It's not like she's some sort of mass it's not like she's some sort of mass murderer. She basically admitted like, "Hey, I do kill people and go after bounties. Like I am a murderer." And you were fine with that, but now she's got a title with it, so you've got to be angry. I guess. Okay. Oh, God damn it.
We're almost done.
I know. Elion was silent. It hurt her to see Ray this angry at her, despite how much she knew she deserved it. Look, Ray, I was wrong to keep the truth from you. It was stupid and selfish, narrow-minded. I lied to you about being a Sith, and I'm sorry. But right now, your safety matters more to me than whatever you may think of me. If you're willing to trust me just long enough to get you away from this place, I promise I'll never bother you again, okay? I mean, yes. Yes, that's how lying works. The rifle shook in her grip. This could have been this could all have been all a trick. She could have lowered her guard for a split second, and that would have been spelled the end for her. That's what these Sith were known to do. Ooh. But she came back for her. Her friends came back for her. I just lost my place. My phone went off.
Her friends
And
came back for her.
something she'd wanted to hear ever since she was little, and now it was happening. Slowly but surely, Ray lowered the weapon amidst the excuse me, amidst the sorrow welling up inside her, that she had in fact ruined everything. Aliana felt a twinge of relief that Ray was agreeing to trust her for now. Your lightsaber, give it to me. Aliana didn't even hesitate and removed her lightsaber from her belt, holding it by the emitter as she slowly stepped forward. And held it out to her. Ray took it and was briefly surprised at how heavy it was. She stared down at it, seeing it in a much different light than she used to, knowing it wasn't in fact a scare prop, that it was Aliana's actual weapon, made it seem a lot more frightening. She handled it carefully, not wanting to activate it into her own chest, and stuck it into the wraps of her tunic. She finally looked up at Aliana and cursed herself for not being able to ignore how beautiful she was. She was so angry and hurt, still didn't know what she wanted with her, but looking into Aliana's beautiful crimson eyes, they still cut through all that and made her feel ever so slightly safer. All right, where now? Oh. Oh, thank God. Aliana couldn't help but feel the small smile creep on her lips as she gestured behind her. This way, the others are turning off the shield generators to this place before the resistance arrives to destroy it. Where are we meeting them? Just outside the base's oscillator, Aliana said, pointing behind Ray at a corridor heading out to the east. That way. Ray motioned for Aliana to walk in front of her. Aliana took the implication and led her out towards the exit. The two walked in silence, with Aliana able to feel the conflicted emotions coming off Ray with every step. She wanted to say something to try and explain herself. She wanted to just tell her everything. But if she let herself get distracted now, they'd be ambushed. So the two continued to walk in silence, Ray glancing at her on occasion. You were right about one thing, Ray said, breaking the silence. Aliana looked back at Ray, her expression puzzled. Kylo Ren is a grease stain. A small smile once again graced the Sith's lips. Oh, it's
Aw,
over.
isn't that touching?
It's over, and I have to. Did anyone negatively comment?
Nobody commented. Oh, I didn't see any comments. Oh shit.
Fucking oof. Oh my god. People think this is good. There are people on the planet that think this is good writing.
Of
These
course they
people like The
do.
Last Jedi.
Probably.
These people, everyone who comments on this, is is someone who would defend The Last Jedi. Like, there are people that like this.
I would not be surprised, Tyrant King.
Oh, probably. Oh. No, you're no longer welcome here, Caesar. It's my show now.
Asshole.
Oh god. Anyway, that hurt a lot more than it should have.
Oh, I had fun.
I mean, it was fun. It was. But I think I'm coming down with something. So that's also not helping. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't been tuning in into the much more frequent content on the channel, well, it's because I no longer have a job and wish to make YouTube my full-time employment. I do already have a Subscribestar set up. Please do not feel obligated in any way to give me money. Like, straight up, I'm not lying. I'm not trying to, push anything. Do not feel obligated. I don't put out content on the regularly, arguably enough to deserve it. But I believe, unless we have any other announcements, I think that's going to be it for us this week.
All right.
And we will see you all next week with either a new chapter of this or probably something else. Who knows? Supposedly Disney's laying off 7,000 people, so we'll see how that turns out. But again, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and y'all have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yeah, take care.